Hello, my dears. I hope you all are doing well. In this episode, I'm going to explain one new topic. It's accounting for non-profit organizations. So, first of all, what is the meaning of non-profit organization? So, my dears, a non-profit organization is a voluntary organization which is formed for promoting a useful object such as art, science, culture, sports, profession, education, charity, religion, and etc. Okay. So here NPO means non-profit organization is also known as a non-trading organization. It is also called as non-trading organization. So here NPO deal in monetary or financial transactions only, which are of a charitable nature. The purchasing and selling of goods activities are not done by NPOs. Okay. So, what is the primary objective of NPO means? To give social service to their members or society at large. Okay. What is the main objective? What is the purpose of NPO means? Rendering the service to their members or to the society. So the social services are given either free of cost or at nominal price without aiming at profit. So this is the main objective and meaning of NPO. Okay. Next, what are the characteristics of NPO? So my dears, here NPO features. Okay. The main feature of NPO is to give different kinds of services such as education, healthcare, sports, entertainment, okay, to its members or to the society. Okay. So here NPOs give these services either free of cost or at nominal cost. So this is the main objective of NPO. Next, other characteristics. In other features, the NPOs have no profit motive. Okay. So what is the motive of NPO? Only service motive. And next, normally the NPOs do not undertake business or trading such as purchase and sale of goods, right? Their transactions are mainly cash transactions. So normally they do not have credit transactions. Next, as they do not undertake trading activities, the NPOs do not prepare trading and profit and loss accounts. Okay. Next, the NPOs are organized as charitable trusts or charitable societies, and subscribers to such organizations are called members and not owners. So, the members, the persons who involves in non-trading business, non-trading organization, they are called as members only. Okay, but not owners. The NPOs obtain their funds or income in the form of cash subscriptions from their members or as donations or legacies or grants from governments and income from investment. These are the major sources of the income. Next, the funds raised by NPOs from different sources are credited to capital fund, okay, or general fund. So here capital amount in trading business we call capital, no? So in non-trading business we call it as capital fund. So the funds raised by NPOs from different sources are credited to capital fund. I mean we add it to capital fund or general fund. Here capital fund is also called general fund. Okay. Next, here special funds means like sports funds, prize funds, okay, tournament funds, and etc. Next, the affairs of NPOs are managed by a managing committee. Okay, here the business is run by a managing committee which is elected by the members. Okay, executive managers. Next, the surplus generated by these NPOs by way of excess of income over expenditure is not distributed amongst the members. Okay, so in non-trading business, the profit is called as surplus, and the loss amount is called as deficit. So that profit or loss, I mean deficiency, surplus or deficiency, okay, uh, we not distribute to the members. Okay, the surplus generated by these NPOs by way of excess of income over expenditure is not distributed among the members. Okay, it is simply added or credited to capital fund. Just we add this surplus or we adjust the deficit amount to capital fund only. Next, there is no question of individual or joint ownership of assets of NPOs by any member or members. Okay, next, what are the differences between trading organization and non-trading organization? So your non-trading organization means non-profit organization. So what are the main differences means, okay, we know the profitable organization, I mean trading organization, the main motive is to earn profit, but in non-trading organization the main motive is to render service to members and to the society. Okay, this is a main difference. Next, in trading organization, funds are represented by capital contributed by proprietors and accumulated reserves, but in non-trading concern, in non-trading organization, funds are represented by capital fund. Okay, capital fund in the form of donations, subscriptions, and surplus. Next, in trading business, in trading organization, okay, the final accounts include trading accounts, profit and loss account, and balance sheet. But my dears, in non-trading organization, okay, the final accounts include receipts and payments account, income and expenditure account, and balance sheet. Okay. Next, in trading concern, in trading business, the balance of the profit and loss account may be net profit or net loss. But in non-trading concern, the balance of the income and expenditure account is called surplus or deficit. So these are the main differences between trading and non-trading organization. Next, final accounts. Right. A non-profit organization has limited or very few transactions relating to goods, debtors, and creditors. So, in non-trading concern, it keeps only the basic books of accounts like cash book, general, and ledger. Okay. But in final accounts, okay, what we prepare means number one, receipts and payments account, number two, income and expenditure account, and number three, balance sheet. My dears, in non-trading business, in non-trading organizations, what are the accounts we prepare in final accounts means number one, receipts and payments account, number two, income and expenditure account, and number three, balance sheet. Okay. If it is running business, if it is running business means, okay, running organization means we also need to prepare opening balance sheet to find out the capital fund amount, to find out the general reserve or general fund amount. We need to prepare opening balance sheet also. Okay, suppose in the problem opening capital capital fund is given means uh, not required to prepare opening balance sheet, just we prepare direct closing balance sheet. But what are the important accounts in final accounts means receipts and payments account, okay, income and expenditure account, and balance sheet. Okay. Next, so first, I'm going to explain the first account in final account, that is receipts and payments account. So my dears, it is prepared. A receipts and payments account is prepared at the end of the year from the cash book. Okay, it is prepared at the end of the year from the cash book. So the receipts and payments account is a summary of cash transactions under important headings. So here receipts and payments account gives a summary picture of the various receipts and payments, okay, the details of which can be seen in the cash book. This is the meaning of receipts and payments account. What are the features of receipts and payments account? So here receipts and payments account is a real account. Okay, receipts and payments account is in the nature of real account. That means receipts are recorded on the debit side, because in case of real account receipts are debited now, so receipts are recorded on the debit side of receipts and payments account. Next, payments, the payments are recorded on the credit side, because in case of real account payments are to be credited, so all the payments are recorded on the credit side of receipts and payment account. Next, it starts with the balance, it starts with the cash or bank balance in the beginning. Okay, it starts with the balance in the beginning and ends with the balance at the end. Okay, which means balance of cash in hand in the beginning and at the end respectively. Okay, so it starts with opening cash in hand balance and ends with closing cash in hand balance. Next, it records amounts received during the year. It records the amounts received during the year and the amounts paid during the year, whether they belong to past or current or subsequent year. So my dears, this is very important point. In receipts and payments account, we record all the amounts which are received during the year in current year, okay, or the amounts which are paid in current year, whether they belong to current year or past year or subsequent year. Okay, so all the amounts paid and received in the current year comes in receipts and payments account. Next, it records all the receipts and all the payments without any regard as to whether they are of capital or revenue nature. Okay, it may be capital or revenue, it may be capital receipt or capital payments, maybe revenue receipt or revenue payments. Okay, so all the items comes in receipts and payments account. Okay, so these are the important features of the receipts and payment account. Next, the second account is, so here in receipts and payments account, it does not show expenses and incomes on accrual basis. Okay, so it does not show whether the club is able to meet its day-to-day expenses out of its income. That means it does not reveal the surplus or deficit of the business. So that's why we need to prepare the next account, that is income and expenditure account. So here income and expenditure account is the summary of incomes and expenditures. Is a summary of incomes and expenditure of the complete year. Okay, it is like a profit and loss account. It is like a profit and loss account. It is prepared at the end of the year and includes only revenue items. It includes only revenue items, not capital items. Okay, its balance at the end represents surplus of the income over the expenditure, or the deficit of the expenditure over the income. Okay, so by preparing the income and expenditure account, what we get means we may get surplus or deficit. So my dears, what is surplus means, if the income is more, if the income is more than expenditure, that is called surplus. If expenditure is more than income, that is called deficit. So to find out this, we are preparing income and expenditure account. Then what are the main features of income and expenditure account means, number one, your income and expenditure account is a nominal account. It is in the nature of nominal account. Next, number two, expenditure is recorded on the debit side, as in the case of nominal account. Losses and expenses are debited. Okay, in the case of nominal account, losses, expenses and losses we debit now. So expenditure is recorded on the debit side of income and expenditure account. Next, income. Your income is recorded on the credit side, because in the case of nominal account, incomes and gains are to be credited. So income is recorded on the credit side of income and expenditure account. And it shows income and expenditure account. It shows income and expenditure of current year only. Income and expenditure account of, in a sorry, it shows only income and expenditure of current year on accrual basis. Okay, only current year income and expenditure account it shows. Next, and it shows items of revenue nature. It shows only the items of revenue nature. Items of capital nature are not shown in this account. Okay, it may be capital expenditure or capital income. It won't come in income and expenditure account. Only revenue items, maybe revenue income or revenue expenditure. That items only we take in income and expenditure account. So this is about income and expenditure account. Next, we prepare balance sheet as receipts and payments account. Okay, and income and expenditure account. Okay, these two accounts not shows the complete picture of the statement of affairs, the complete picture of the business result. Okay, so that's why we need to prepare the balance sheet to know the financial position, okay, or financial status of the business. We also need to prepare balance sheet. So here balance sheet shows the financial position. That means assets and liabilities at the end of the accounting period. Okay, by preparing balance sheet, what we know means we know the financial position. Okay, at the end of the accounting period, here financial position reveals by the assets and liabilities of the organization. So in the balance sheet of non-profit making entities is prepared in the usual way, showing assets on the right hand side. Okay, so in balance sheet we take all the assets right hand side and all the liabilities left hand side. Okay, so the term capital is not to be found. The term capital is not to be found. Instead, there will be a capital fund or a general fund or an accumulated fund. Okay, so as I said, in non-profit organization, okay, so the capital amounts we not call as capital. That capital amount is called as capital fund or general fund or accumulated fund. So this fund represents the net assets of the non-trading institution and is calculated in the same manner as capital. Okay, so how we calculate capital in trading business? Okay, like that only we calculate your capital fund. So here net assets amount we take as capital. How we get net assets? Okay, yes, net assets means total assets minus total liabilities. So if excess of assets, okay, excess of assets over liabilities is called capital. So it is necessary to calculate the value of fund at the start of the accounting period by deducting the opening liabilities from the opening assets. Okay, so we deduct opening liabilities from opening assets in opening balance sheet. Okay, just now I explained now. So in the question, capital fund or general fund is not given means we also need to prepare opening balance sheet. Okay, by preparing opening balance sheet only we get capital fund amount. That capital fund amount we take in closing balance sheet liability side. Okay. So next, the surplus which we get in income and expenditure account. Okay, so the surplus of the year is to be added. Okay, is to be added to capital fund. If we get deficit means it will be deducted from capital fund. So this is about balance sheet. So my dears, about this, okay, with performance very clearly given in your textbook. So once you should refer the textbook. Next, the topic is the difference between receipts and payments account and income and expenditure account. What are the differences between receipts and payments account and income and expenditure account? Very important topic. Here the main differences I am going to explain. The first difference, a receipts and payments account is in the nature of real accounts, right? Next, your income and expenditure account nature is nominal accounts. Okay, receipts and payments account is a real account. Income and expenditure account is a nominal account. And in receipts and payments accounts, okay, it is a cash account. It is a cash account. But income and expenditure account is like a profit and loss account. Okay. Next, debit side of this account, I mean debit side of receipts and payments account, we record the receipts, and debit side of income and expenditure account we record the expenses and losses. My dears, in receipts and payments account, debit side we are recording the receipts, but in income and expenditure account, debit side we record expenses and losses. Next, in receipts and payments account, credit side we record payments, but in income and expenditure account, credit side we record the income, credit side we record income. Next, in receipts and payments account, balance in the beginning. Balance in the beginning represents cash in hand in the beginning. But in income and expenditure account, there is no balance in the beginning. Okay. Next, in receipts and payments account, the balance at the end. Balance at the end represents cash in hand at the end. But in income and expenditure account, balance at the end represents surplus or deficit. Okay, my dears, listen once again. In receipts and payments account, there is a opening balance, but in income and expenditure account, there is no opening balance. Next, in receipts and payments account, closing balance is also there. Okay, but in income and expenditure account, okay, only closing balance get. That closing balance may be surplus or deficit. So when we get surplus means if income is more, we get surplus. If expenditure is more, we get loss. Next, receipts and payments account, it records only the receipts and payments of both capital and revenue nature. It records receipts and also payments of both, mean capital and revenue nature. But in income and expenditure account, we record only income and expenditure account, income and expenditure of revenue nature. Okay, only revenue items we record in income and expenditure account. Okay, it may be revenue income or revenue expenditure. That means capital items we not take. Okay, next, difference, in receipts and payments account, it shows the receipts and payments made during the year, whether they belong to current year or past year or future year. Okay, may be related to current year or past year or future year. Okay, all the amounts we record in receipts and payments account. Okay, but in income and expenditure account, it shows only the incomes and expenditure of the current year, whether it is received or not, whether it is paid or not. Okay, if it is current year related means we have to post in income and expenditure accounts. This is a important point. Next, in receipts and payments account, expenses not yet paid, that means outstanding expenses, and incomes not yet received or incomes due but not received or not included in this account. In receipts and payments account, simply, okay, adjustments we not take. Your adjustments means like outstanding expenses. Okay, next, advance received income, like that. Okay, that amounts we not take. And in income and expenditure account, if the expenses or income related to the current year, relate to current year means they will be recorded in this account even if they are not paid or received, even though they are not paid or received. Okay, if the expense or income is related to present year means we have to take. Next, the last difference in receipts and payments accounts, depreciation, bad debts, okay, the type of items we not record. Depreciation, bad debts are not recorded in this account, but in income and expenditure account, depreciation, bad debts, okay, or the losses to the institutions, and therefore these losses are recorded in the accounts. Depreciation, bad debts, nature is loss now, so all the losses we have to take in income and expenditure accounts. Okay, so about this also your textbook clearly given. So what I am explaining from your textbook only I am explaining. So refer the textbook for the complete theory in detail in your textbook given. Next, form of problems. So my dears, in accounting for non-trading organization, okay, they give the problems in three forms. We lost the problems in three forms. What are the important three forms means? Number one, preparation of income and expenditure account and balance sheet. Okay, so to prepare income and expenditure account and balance sheet, okay, uh, the information what we required, okay, that information will give in the question. Generally what they give in the question means receipts and payments account and additional information. So by the help of receipts and payments account and additional information, we have to prepare income and expenditure account and balance sheet. So this is the first method. Next to second type. What is the second type means? Okay, by given information we have to prepare receipts and payments account. Okay, we have to prepare receipts and payments account, that is second type. Next to third type. In third type what we prepare means balance sheets. Okay, both the balance sheets we have to prepare. Both the balance sheets means balance sheet the beginning and balance sheet at the end we have to prepare. So in these three model they will ask the questions. The first method we have to prepare by given information income and expenditure account and balance sheet. In second type we have to prepare by the given information receipts and payment account. In third type by given information we have to prepare opening and closing balance sheets. Okay, right. Next, before starting the problem, here one must aware of some important items, okay, in non-trading organization. So what are the most important items? So briefly, okay, I'm going to explain. See, these are the important items which comes in non-trading organizations. So what is the meaning of these terms and what is the treatment? Legacies are gifts or donations received in cash or property or both under a will on the death of a donor. Okay, so legacies means the income. Okay, legacies means the income maybe in the form of donation or gifts in cash form or property form, okay, which we receive by a will on deceased person. Okay, by will from deceased person. Okay, so here deceased person means dead person. So legacies are the nature of non-recurring income. Okay, because such receipts will come very rarely. It is non-recurring income, so hence legacy should be treated as capital receipt. Okay, capital receipt, and it is added to the capital fund on the liability side of balance sheet. What is the treatment for legacies? It should be added to capital fund on the liability side of balance sheet. So the legacies we treat as capital income. Next, second one, donations. My dears, here donations means the amount which is received from some persons, firms, company or any other body by way of gift. So donation is the amount which is received from any person, firm, company or any other body by way of gift. So in donations it appears on the debit side of the receipts and payment accounts. Okay, uh, so in donations we are dividing specific and general donation. Okay, donations are classified into specific donation and general donation. So my dears, how to know is it specific or general means? Okay, if in the question the purpose of donation is mentioned, the purpose of donation is mentioned means that is specific donations, like donation for building. Okay, donation for building, donation for library. Okay, like that. Particular purpose mentioned means that is we treat as specific donation. So specific donation given means it is capitalized. So my dear, capitalized means it is taken on the liability side of the balance sheet. Okay, so that means specific donation you have to treat as capital income. So it comes in balance sheet liability side. Next, general donation. So again, general donation based on the amount. Based on the amounts, we are dividing as two. Okay, large amount and small amount. So the question general donation given means we have to identify. We have to observe is it large amount or small amount. Suppose it is large amount means okay, that amounts we take in balance sheet liability side. We are treating as capital income. Suppose the amount is small, okay, the amount is in small, then we treat as revenue income. Okay, amount is large means we treat as capital income. If amount is small means we treat as revenue income. So if it is in small amount, then it comes in income and expenditure account credit side. Okay, so remember my dears, in donation first we have to observe is it specific donation or general donation. If it is specific donation means it may be small or big amount, it is taken directly in the balance sheet on the liability side. But general donation means if it is large amount means is to be capitalized, if small amount means it is treated as revenue income, so comes in income and expenditure account credit side. But my dears, here which is big donation or small donation, okay, how to identify means that depends on the circumstances of each case. Okay, depending on the other amounts, we have to identify is it small or big amounts. Okay, so in the problem again I will explain. It's a very important item, entrance fee. So my dears, here entrance fee is also called admission fee. So what is the meaning of entrance fee means? The fee is paid by the members to cover additional expenses incurred when a member joins. Okay, the fee is paid by the members to cover additional expenses incurred when a member joins. This is the meaning of entrance fee. In accounting treatment, my dears, there is a lot of confusion. Okay, because some of the accountants prefer to treat it as capital income because as it is a heavy and received once from the members, and some of the accountants says that it should be treated as revenue income as it is a regular source of income. Okay, however, uh, in the question specific instructions are not given. Okay, in the absence of specific instructions, okay, my advice is to take it as capital income. Okay, the question nothing mentioned about entrance fees treatment, nothing is mentioned means you take it as capital income. Okay, if in the question they only mention take as revenue income means we should take as revenue income. Otherwise stated in the problem you should take it as capital income because as per accounting standard 9, okay, the entrance fees is to be capitalized. So my advice is to take it as capital income only unless otherwise stated in the problem, right? Next, fourth item, life membership fee. So my dears, life membership fee are received once during the lifetime in one lump sum. Okay, life membership fee received once during the lifetime in lump sum. So they are non-recurring and should be treated as capital income. Such fees are added to the capital fund. Okay, we are treating as capital income. So such fees are added to the capital fund on the liability side of the balance sheet. Right. Next, endowment fund. Here, endowment fund is a fund which provides permanent means of support for any person or institution. So, this amount we take the liability side of the balance sheet where it appears year after year. Okay, so we are treating endowment fund as capital income. Okay, next, sale of old asset is also very important. Listen carefully. So, here sale of old asset, the amount received from the sale of old asset like furniture or computers, buildings or investments, okay, is a capital receipt. Okay, the amount received from the sale of any asset is a capital receipt, and hence it should not be entered in the income and expenditure account. Okay, so we take in the book value of the old asset should be deducted from the total book value of the asset on the asset side of the balance sheet. Ideas, listen once again. So the amount which is received from the sale of assets, okay, that amount book value, that asset book value should be deducted from the total value of the assets on the asset side of balance sheet. Okay, but only the profit or loss. So when we sell the asset, we may get profit or loss. Only that profit or loss on the sale of asset, okay, has to be entered in the income and expenditure account. Only the profit or loss we have to take in income and expenditure account. But how much worth of asset we sold, okay, that asset value we have to deduct from the concerned asset, the related asset in the balance sheet asset side. Okay, now so here sale of asset we are adjusting in balance sheet by deducting from related asset, and the profit or loss, okay, that profit or loss we have to take in income and expenditure account. Suppose by selling the asset we get profit, means that profit comes in income and expenditure account credit side. If we get loss, means that loss amount we take in income and expenditure account debit side. Okay, next the next item, sale of sports material and newspaper. So my dears, your sale of old sports material, okay, only used material like old bats, balls, old nets, okay, is a regular feature of any organization. Okay, so the sale proceeds are shown in the receipts and payments account on the debit side and are posted to the credit side of income and expenditure account. So my dear, sale of sports material as well as sale of newspaper, okay, so this amount we treat as revenue income. So revenue income means we take in income and expenditure accounts credit side. Next the next item is grant from government or government agencies. So some not-profit organizations may receive grants from government or government agencies or from local or national or international agencies. So the treatment depends on the nature of grant. So if the grant is for a specific purpose, as purchase or acquisition or construction of a fixed asset, being of capital nature, is shown on the liability side of balance sheet. Okay, particular purpose, specific purpose is mentioned, means we treat as capital nature, so we take in liability side of balance sheet. But if the grant is for general purpose, okay, particular purpose is not mentioned, not for a specific purpose, then we treat it as revenue income and shown in the income and expenditure account credit side. Okay, so grant from government or government agencies, specific purpose means capital income, general purpose means revenue income. Nothing mentioned means we treat as general grant only. So we take in income and expenditure account credit side. Okay, honorarium. So my dears, here honorarium means any amount paid to a person, okay, who is not an employee of the organization for rendering the services to the concern is called honorarium. Okay, so here honorarium means the amount which is paid by a person who is not an employee of the organization for rendering the services, okay, to the concern is called honorarium. For example, if a payment is made to a doctor who is not an employee of the hospital for treating the patient and providing services of a specialized nature, is called honorarium and will be shown on the credit side. But honorarium amount we treat as revenue expenditure, so comes uh, in income and expenditure account, in income and expenditure account debit side. Okay, honorarium, the nature is revenue expenditure, so comes in income and expenditure account debit side. Next very important, subscriptions. Your subscriptions are major recurring source of income of non-profit organization. Okay, it is a major source of income which is paid by the members periodically. Okay, subscriptions are received during the year appear on the debit side of receipts and payments account, and subscriptions relating to the current year are shown on the income and expenditure account income side, I mean credit side. Okay, present year subscriptions amount we have to take in income and expenditure account credit side because subscription nature is revenue income. Okay, right. Next fund based and non fund based accounting. Okay, this is also important adjustment. So what is fund based and what is non-fund based? So my dears, generally non-profit organizations establish funds for some specific purpose like a prize distribution fund or building fund. So the payments of expenses incurred for the purpose of the fund are debited each. Similarly, incomes earned on the investments of the fund are credited to each. So here the accounting of incomes and expenses for which specific fund exists is termed as fund-based accounting. Okay. So here fund-based accounting is an exception to the general rule that all items of revenue or income and expenses are transferred to income and expenditure account. However, there are certain items of income or expenses for which no specific fund exists. The accounting for such incomes or expenses is termed as non-fund based accounting. So these items are credited or debited to income and expenditure account. Okay. So if there is a specific fund like a price distribution fund or building fund, and there are certain items of incomes and expenditure relating to such fund, then income or expenditure should not be shown in income and expenditure account, but income will be added to the fund and expenses deducted from such fund on the liability side of balance sheet. So my dear, simply here fund based and non-fund based accounting means, so when they give fund amount in the problem, they have to observe is it specific fund or general fund. Particular purpose is mentioned. For example, building fund. Particular purpose is mentioned of building fund, okay, or price distribution fund. Like that mentioned means, okay, that fund amount we take in balance sheet liability side. Okay, and the fund related if any expense is given or if any income is given. Okay, so if income is given means to that fund amount we have to add. If any expense is given means from that fund amount we have to deduct. Okay, suppose general fund is given, non-fund based. Okay, so general fund given means that general fund also we take in balance sheet liability side. But what is important means that fund related any expenses or income, any expenses or income given means that expenditure or income we adjust in income and expenditure account. Okay, particular fund is not given means that fund expenditure and income we take in income and expenditure account. Okay, so in the problem again I will explain this. Okay, next, the last one, other capital expenditure and revenue expenditure and other capital income or revenue income. If any other expenditure, capital expenditure or revenue expenditure is given means what we have to do. Okay, this is also important. Here other capital expenditure means the money spent on the purchase of assets like office furniture, books, building, land, investments. Okay, so this type of amount, the nature of capital or non-recurring expenditure. So this capital expenditure comes in balance sheet asset side. Simply the purchase of assets. The purchase of assets we treat as capital expenditure and we take in balance sheet on liability side after deducting the depreciation amount on them. Next, other revenue expenditure. Here all the expenses which are incurred for day-to-day performance of activities or operations and are of recurring nature are called revenue expenses, like salaries, wages, rent, printing and stationery, okay, insurance, advertisement, interest paid, okay, refreshments. So this type of other revenue expenditure, okay, this type of all the other expenditure we take in income and expenditure account debit side. Okay, next, other capital income and revenue income. So here other income means like sale of fixed assets, okay, special funds, for example interest on tournament fund investments. Okay, so this type of other capital income, this type of capital incomes we take in balance sheet on liability side. Okay, next to revenue income. So here revenue income means such receipts as rent, proceeds from entertainment, okay, lectures and interest on investments. Okay, so this type of revenue, this type of receipts we call revenue income. So it we take in income and expenditure account credit side. Okay, so these are the important items. So to understand this, you should remember this point. See, suppose it is a income and expenditure account and This is balance sheet. Okay? Balance sheet. Right side assets, left side liabilities. Next, in income and expenditure account, credit side income and debit side expenditure. So my dears, remember, okay, all the revenue items means revenue income and revenue expenditure comes in income and expenditure account. Okay, revenue income means income and expenditure account credit side, revenue expenditure means income and expenditure account debit side. Okay, next in balance sheet, asset side we take capital expenditure, asset side we take capital expenditure, and in balance sheet liability side we take capital income. Okay, so two types of items are there now, capital items and revenue items. So that capital items and revenue items all comes in receipts and payments account. From receipts and payments account we post to income and expenditure account and balance sheet based on their nature. Okay, so if it is in revenue nature means in income and expenditure account, revenue income means credit, revenue expenditure means debit. If it is in capital nature, capital expenditure means asset side, capital income means liability side. Okay, so once again I'm repeating the treatment of some important items. Number one, legacy. So legacy is a capital income, so comes in balance sheet liability side. Okay. Next, donation. In donation, again two types: specific donation and general donation. So my dear, specific donation means it may be small amount or big amount. Okay, always comes to specific donation in balance sheet liability side plus capital income. But in general donation, we have to observe is it small amount or large amount. Suppose large amount means we treat as capital income, so comes in balance sheet liability side. If it is small amount means we treat as revenue income, so it comes in income and expenditure account credit side. Next, entrance fee or admission fee. Okay, so unless otherwise stated in the problem, specific instructions are not given means we treat as capital income as per accounting standard 9, so we take in balance sheet liability side. Next, to life membership fee. Life membership fee we treat as capital income, so it comes in balance sheet liability side. Next, to endowment fund. Endowment fund we take in balance sheet liability side by treating as capital income. Next, sale of old asset. Sale of old assets. So when we sell the asset, okay, that worth of asset, how much worth of asset we sold, that worth of asset value we deduct from the related asset in the balance sheet asset side. But on sale of asset, if we get profit or loss, we adjust in income and expenditure account. Suppose if we get profit on sale of asset, that profit amount we take in income and expenditure account credit side. If we get loss means that loss amount we take in income and expenditure account debit side. Next, sale of sports material or newspaper. So here sale of old sports material or newspapers we treat as revenue income. So we take in income and expenditure account credit side. Next, grant from government or government agencies. Okay, specific grant means we treat as capital income, so comes in balance sheet liability side. General grant means okay, we treat as revenue income, so we take in income and expenditure account credit side. Next, honorarium. So honorarium we take as revenue expenditure, so comes in income and expenditure account debit side. Next, subscriptions. Subscriptions we treat as revenue income, so in income and expenditure account credit side we take. Next, fund based and non fund based accounting. Okay, so all the funds amount we take in balance sheet liability side. Okay, so specific fund means that specific fund related expenses from fund amount we have to deduct. Specific fund, if we received any interest amount means we have to add. Okay, specific fund is not given. Okay, then the general fund also we take in balance sheet liability side. But general fund related expenses we take in income and expenditure account debit side, and if any income is there, that income amount we take in income and expenditure account credit side. Next, any other capital and revenue expenditure is there. Capital expenditure we take in balance sheet asset side, revenue expenditure we take in income and expenditure account debit side. Next, other capital and revenue income. If any other capital income is there, that capital income we take in balance sheet liability side. If any other revenue income is there, that we take in income and expenditure accounts credit side. So these are the important points. One must aware with these points, okay, thorough with these points to understand the problems. Next, here I am going to explain two different short problems which are very important for 4 marks. See, the first statement, showing the actual amount of stationery used in the current year. So my dears, this is very important pro forma. Okay. Uh, so here we are calculating the actual amount of stationery, okay, or any other expense stationery used in the current year. So to find out the actual amount of stationery used in the current year, what is the sequence we have to follow? Okay. So what are the items we have to take and how to adjust? The first we take amount paid for stationery during the year. In the question they will give the information. Okay, just to, we have to remember this pro forma. Okay. So amount paid for stationery during the year first we take. So to this amount we adjust opening stock of stationery. Okay, we have to add, and closing stock of stationery we have to less. Okay. Total stationery paid amounts, opening stock of stationery we have to add, closing stock of stationery we have to less. Next, creditors for stationery at the end of the year, creditors for the stationery at the end of the current year amounts we have to add. Next, creditors for stationery at the beginning of the year. Okay, creditors for stationery at the beginning of the year we have to less. Okay, quite opposite. Next, advance payment for stationery in the previous year. Advance payment for stationery in the previous year means it's belonging to the current year. Previous year advancedly paid means that is related to current year only now, so that amount we have to add. And advance payment for stationery in the current year. Current year advancedly be paid means it is related to the next year, so that amount we have to less. Okay, so I hope you have understood this. Now this related problem I am going to explain. In your textbook, problem number 1C on page number 299. Calculate the amount of stationery consumed during the calendar year 2004. So my dears, 2004 is the present year. So your information, stock of stationery on 1st January 2004, creditors for stationery on 1st January 2004, advance paid for stationery carried from 2003, it's last year, amount paid for stationery during the year. Amount paid for stationery during the year we take as first item. So to this amount we adjust all the other. Next, stock of stationery on 31st December 2004, creditors for stationery for 31st December 2004, advance paid for stationery on 31st December 2004. So this is the information. Okay, so here I prepared the statements to do this problem. 1C. See, first I am taking the amounts paid for stationery. Amount paid for stationery during the year is 10,800. Amount paid for the stationery during the year 10,500. So to this amount I am doing the adjustments. The first item, stock of stationery on 1st January 2004. Stock of stationery on 1st January 2004 means that is opening stock of stationery. Okay, so we have to add stock of stationery on 1st January 2004 means opening stock 3000 rupees. Next item, creditors for stationery on 1st January 2004. So my dears, creditors for stationery on 1st January 2004 means opening. So what we have to do? See, creditors for stationery at the beginning of the year. So we have to less creditors for stationery on 1st January 2004, the beginning of the year. The amount is 2000, inner column. Next, advance paid for stationery carried from 2003. So here advance paid for stationery carried from 2003. 2003 means last year. Last year advance paid amount. So here last year advance paid means we have to add. See, advance payment for stationery in the previous year. Last year advance paid means that is related to present year only. So we have to add advance paid for stationery in 2003, 200 rupees. Next, stock of stationery on 31st December 2004. Okay, Stock of stationery on 31st December 2004 means closing stock. So closing stock we have to subtract. So minus stock of stationery on 31st December 2004 is 500 rupees. Next, creditors for stationery for 31st December 2004. My dears, creditors for stationery 31st December 2004. 31st December 2004 means closing. Okay, so creditors for stationery at the end of the year. So we have to add creditors for stationery for 31st December 2004 is 1300. Next, the last item, advance paid for stationery on 31st to December 2004. Advance paid for stationery on 31st December 2004 means at the end of the year. So here advance payment for stationery, okay, in the current year, the end of the year or in the current year means we have to subtract. So advance paid for stationery on 31st March 2004. Think that present year 1300. Okay. Very important for 4 marks. I am closing the statement. This total is 15,300. This 3 amount total is 3,800. How to minus? So 15,300 minus 3,800, balance is 11,500. This is the answer. Therefore, actual amount consumed in the current year, which we take in income and expenditure account debit side. Okay, so actual amount consumed in the current year is 11,500. Okay, next one more short problem which is very important for 4 marks. I'm going to explain. So to do that problem, you have to by heart this pro forma. See, statement showing the actual amount of subscription received in the current year. Okay, statement showing the actual amount of subscriptions received in the current year, present year subscription amount. Okay, first we have to take subscription during the year received. Okay, during the year how much subscription we received, that amount we have to take as first item. So to this amount we have to adjust the other items. Okay, so what we have to add means outstanding subscription at the end of the current year, present year outstanding subscriptions, present year outstanding subscriptions we have to add. Okay, next subscriptions received in advance in previous year. Okay, subscriptions received in advance in previous year. Previous year advance received means that is also related to present year only now. So present year related means we have to add. Okay, one is outstanding subscription to the end of the current year, present year amount only. Subscription received in advance in previous year means that is also present year related only. So these two amounts we have to add. Next, less outstanding subscriptions at the beginning of the year. So my dears, outstanding subscriptions at the beginning of the year means that is last year amount. At the beginning of the year means closing of last year only. So we have to subtract. Next, to subscriptions received in advance in current year. Present year advance received means not present year related now. So that is related to next year, subsequent year. So we have to subtract. So here what we are taking means present year amounts we are adding and last year next year amounts we are subtracting. See once again, outstanding subscriptions at the end of current year, present year amount. So we have to add subscriptions received in advance in previous year. We received previous year but related to present year only. So we have to add. Next, outstanding subscriptions at the beginning of the year. Beginning of the year means that is last year amount. So we have to subtract. And subscriptions received in advance in current year means that is related to next year. Also we have to subtract. Okay. So then we get the actual amount of subscriptions which is credited to income and expenditure account. Your textbook on page number 299, problem number 2b. See the question. Prepare the subscription account from the following items for the year ending 31st March 2003. So my dear, 31st March 2003 is the closing date, means what is the current year? 2002 to 3. The information: subscription in arrears on 31st March 2002 means last year outstanding subscriptions. Subscriptions received in advance at 31st March 2002 for 2002 to 3. So present year. Present year related subscriptions we received in advance last year. Okay. Next, total subscriptions received during 2002 to 3. So present year total subscriptions received amount. So this amount we take as first item. In the bracket they mentioned including 400 rupees for 2001 to 2, means 400 rupees is related to the last year 2001 to 2. Next to 1200 rupees for 2003 to 4. 3 to 4 means next year. Okay. And 300 rupees for 2004 to 5, also future year. Okay. Next, subscriptions outstanding for 2002 to 3 means present year outstanding subscriptions. Okay. So by this information it is asking to prepare subscription account. Okay. But my dears, exam point of view, subscription account is not important. Only the amount which we post in income and expenditure account, that amount only calculation is important. Okay. So first of all, here I am calculating the amount which comes in income and expenditure account credit side. So just now I explained now statement. So here I prepare the statement showing the actual amount of subscription received for the current year. So first item what we take? Yes, subscriptions received. Subscriptions received during the current year, 35,400. So to this amount we adjust the other items. So my dears, remember to find out the present year subscriptions received amount. Okay, present year related outstanding amount we have to add. Okay, last year and next year related items we have to subtract. So in this problem, total subscription received during the year 2002 to 3 given 35,400, but in that including 400 rupees for 2001 to 2 means last year amount is 400 rupees included. But at starting they also given subscriptions in arrears on 31st March 2002 means last year only now. So this amount also last year and this 400 rupees also last year. But my dears, okay, here in these two amounts, okay, this 500 rupees is given separately. That means that is not included in this amount. Only out of 500, 400 rupees only last year related, 400 rupees only included in this amount. Okay. So now in total received amount how much we have to deduct means only this 400 rupees. Don't take this 500 rupees. Suppose this 400 rupees is not given means, okay, the total last year amount we have to subtract. But in this problem we have to subtract only 400 rupees. Just we ignore this 500 rupees because this amount is not included in this amount. Okay. So here I am subtracting only 400 rupees, which is outstanding subscriptions for the last year. For the last year, 400 rupees. Various bracket also mention 1200 rupees for 2003 and 300 rupees for 2004 to 5. These 2 years of subsequent years only, not current year. So subsequent years subscription amount we received in this year, but that is not related to current year now. So these two amounts also we have to deduct. So minus is called advance received subscriptions. Advance received subscriptions. Current year advance received subscription. Current year advance received subscription means that is next year's only. So we have to minus total 1200 plus 300. Both the amounts are related to the next year's only. So 1500 minus. Next, subscriptions received in advance on 31st March 2002 for 2002 to 3. 2 to 3 means present year. Present year subscription amount we received in advance in last year. We received last year, but present year related only now. So we have to add advance received subscriptions last year. The amount we received in last year, but it's present year amount only. So we have to add 1000 100. The last item, subscriptions outstanding for 2002 to 3, present year outstanding. Present year outstanding, you have to add outstanding subscriptions for the current year is 400 rupees. So this is the problem. So my dear, simply remember, okay, present year subscriptions, present year outstanding subscriptions we have to add, and last year, next year related subscriptions we have to subtract. And here important point is advance received. So when we received advancely, when we receive the subscriptions advancely, okay, we have to observe when we received. Last year received means that is current year only, and present year received means that is not present year. Present year received means that is related to the next year. So we have to subtract. So remember these 2 points. Now I am closing the statement. Here the total is 36,900 minus 1900. So the balance 35,000 is the actual amount of subscriptions which is credited to income and expenditure account. Okay. So in the question, they also ask you to prepare subscription account. Okay. This is subscription account. Okay. It's very simple. First we take total amount received during the year. That is 35,400 as by cash account. Right. Next we take what are the items we added. Here what are the items we added, that amounts we take in subscription account credit side, and what are the items we subtracted, okay, that items we take in subscription account debit side. See my dears, here we added advance received subscription in the last year, so we have to take credit side, advance received subscriptions the last year is 1100. Next outstanding subscriptions also added now, so same credit side, outstanding subscriptions for the current year 400. Next outstanding subscriptions for the last year subtracted, okay, debit side, outstanding subscriptions for the last year 400, and advance received subscriptions also debit side 1500. Now close the account, you get the same balance. Credit side total is more, so credit side total minus debit side total, we get the balance 35,000. So this is the balance amount which comes in income and expenditure account credit side. So my dears, exam point of view, this is not important. So only calculation of actual amount of subscription which is credited to income and expenditure account, that is only important. Okay. So similar problems given in your textbook on page number 299. Should practice the problems. And in next episode, I'm going to explain the long problems which are important for 12 marks. Thank you.